All right, this will not be a sleepy session. We are debating, and I'm the moderator for this debate. Today, we are taking on a motion. AI will replace most of your customer success team by 2030. Okay, AI will replace most of your customer success team by 2030. This is a serious topic, but we're going to do it in a lighthearted way. Okay, serious topic, but we're going to do it in a lighthearted way. Because there's a lot of ways to interpret this, so we're going to interpret it a certain way. You've heard a lot about AI today. You've heard a lot of AI over the last few months, and there's been slow development and then rapid explosion, right? And this is what's happened over the last 12 to 18 months. ChatGPT, Bard, Llama for text, products like DALL-E and Midjourney. By the way, all these graphics are done by AI. Right, so I just asked it to do a debate scene, and this is what it gave me. Right, so if you haven't used Midjourney or DALL-E for photos, that's what it is. Our friends at Synthesia this morning on video and audio. It is making things really interesting, also really confusing as well. Right, and I think we've sort of heard the breathlessness of all the folks excited about the change. I think you've heard that. People comparing it to the internet and the mobile revolution. And then there's some skepticism, right? That this is more tech hype. It's designed once again to take advantage of the fear of missing out, taking advantage of FOMO, right? And there are recent examples of that, like really recent examples like blockchain and crypto, which is sort of like not everything we thought it was going to be. So having reasonable people, having reasonable discussion on both sides of this means only one thing: we should have a debate, right? And so we are doing an Oxford-style debate inspired by an organization called Open to Debate. So that's the organization that was previously known as Intelligence Squared. They organized a series of debates just like this. They published them as podcasts. I encourage you to listen to them. I listen to them all the time. I learn a lot about politics, sports, science, right? Anything that's worth debating, they have a debate on. It's called Open to Debate. So I subscribe, I learn a lot, I encourage you to listen as well. All right, so let's bring up the debaters first, okay? And I want to make sure you know who they are. First up is Kathy Isaac. Kathy, please come up. There we go. Kathy. And then Allastair, Meffen, Allastair. Okay, there we go. These are debaters arguing for the motion that AI will replace most of your CS team by 2030, and arguing against the motion. Maranda Dziekonski. Maranda, come on up. And also David Verhaag. David, come on up. All right. David. All right, there we go. Welcome, debaters. Hey, I'm really glad to have you join us here, putting yourself out there. I know, it's not easy to do. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself in a second, but let's set the debate stage. Okay. The debate will go in 3 rounds with a vote at the beginning, at the end. So you're going to vote shortly. Round 1 will be 3-minute opening statements by each debater. Round 2, I'm going to ask questions. They're going to ask each other questions, and you're going to ask them questions. Okay? Just make sure you listen to their points. Do they make sense? Are they coherent? And let's ask them questions. And then round 3 will be closing statements, 90-second closing arguments by each debater. Okay? And then you'll vote again. So the team that changes the most minds will win the debate. The winners will get valuable bragging rights for an entire year. Okay. So yes, we're gonna have a chat. We're gonna have a chat channel, and we're just going to talk smack for an entire year. Okay, that's what it's gonna be. Yes. Okay. So all right. So let's take a vote. Okay. So I'd like the audience to make the initial vote. Go ahead and hit that QR code. If for some reason you can't get that QR code, go to slido.com with that number, and you will vote either. You have 3 choices: for the motion, against the motion, and undecided. Okay, before you make the vote, okay, before you hit that button, I want to be really clear, okay? Most people actually don't understand the motion, okay? And because I've talked to a lot of people about this, the motion is AI will replace most. 50.1% according to Allastair of your CS team by 2030, right?
So should I jump in and correct you now?
No,
Right here, no, I mean, hold on.
no, let's hold off. Let's hold off. We're not debating all, and we are not debating now. Okay, we're not debating all. We're not debating now. It is AI will replace most of your CS team by 2030, and you have three choices. You have for the motion, against the motion, and undecided. Please vote now. So while you're voting, let's introduce yourselves. Actually, let's go introduce ourselves. Just say, talk about your role in customer success in your company, and we'll start with Kathy.
Hi, mic on? Good.
Yeah.
I'm Kathy. I'm the VP of Customer Success at a company called Carbide, where we make and sell a SaaS platform that is designed around security and privacy compliance. So we help our customers build security and privacy into their products and services in alignment with common frameworks and regulations and things like that. We're a small company, under 40. So our CS team does pretty much everything post-sales with the exception of the commercial stuff. I am arguing for, because I told these guys earlier, I'm not just believing in it, I'm like praying and hoping for it, because for small companies like us, it's a game changer.
All right.
Debating, that was just,
Pre-debating, Kathy, I love it. Allastair.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Allastair Meffen, VP of Customer Experience at Definitive Healthcare. We are a customer intelligence platform for anybody that sells into healthcare. So we have customers from big pharma, think Pfizer, all the way to the other side, Smuckers, who are selling into cafeterias and then everything in between. So I have the opposite. I have a very large team of about 80. And we are a publicly traded company. So for those of you out there thinking about profit versus margin, AI might help you get where you need to be.
There you go, pre-arguing, I like it. Miranda, you're up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maranda Dziekonski. So I am the SVP of CS at a company named Datasembly. We are a big data platform that serves very large CPGs and retailers. And also, I do fractional COO work on the side. So I see, across the organization at, all levels from finance, biz ops, CS, marketing, sales, everything, I dabble. I don't believe that most of our teams will be replaced by 2030. And we'll go into the reasons why in a minute. So I'm not even going to grace them with any part of my debate right now, because I don't want them to think about their rebuttal while we're going through this.
David.
Yeah, David Verhaag. I'm Chief Customer Officer at Arist, which is a micro-learning platform serving Fortune 500 organizations, learning in the moment of need. And I won't preview my argument, but I will say you should not hold it against them that they want to replace 3/4 of you. Like, I understand that there will be some animosity. They may get tossed off. Don't hold it against them. They just drew the short straw.
So I'm not replacing them, but
We'll debate. We'll let them talk.
So if it's not clear, David and Allastair on the far side arguing for, and Miranda and David are arguing against. By the way, I think maybe where you're from, most is 75%. Is that what you're saying?
Most is, I'm glad you asked. So more than half means 51%.
Fine.
90% or more is almost all. Most is 75%.
That is
Common knowledge, 70, 75%. So look around the room. Look around the room.
Okay.
This whole
right.
half from this point over, you're all gone if you agree with them. You're just gone. This half, you're fortunate. You get to.
You sat on the right side
You
of the
see,
room.
right side of the room. So it's 75% for most.
All right. Let's start with round one of our arguments. So by the time you should have voted by now, and we will vote again after the arguments. Round one, opening statements. Each debater speaks in turn to make the case for and against the motion. You get 3 minutes. And first up to speak for the motion, AI will replace most of your CS team by 2030, is Kathy speaking for the motion. Kathy.
Thank you. So this statement leads me immediately to our current focus on transforming customer success through automation, specifically with a focus on scalability. With AI-powered automation, we will reshape the customer success landscape. It's important to recognize that this assertion is not a speculative notion. It's a reality, and it's actively being driven today by technology and evolving customer expectations. Now, we know that scalability holds a great significance in today's business environment. To provide a clear perspective, Gartner predicts that by 2025, 40% of customer-facing employees will be augmented by AI. Why? Scalability. AI-powered automation offers unparalleled efficiency in managing customer interactions. Today, your CS staff are spending a good majority of their time on routine, time-consuming tasks like managing meetings, hunting down issue resolutions, conducting customer research. They're responding to basic inquiries and a host of other things. Many of these tasks can be seamlessly handed over to machines, freeing up your human agents to focus on the more complex and high-impact activities that I wish they had time to do today, like building relationships and recommending expansion opportunities. Again, this isn't speculation. It's what we're all trying to achieve today. And early implementations of AI are already improving the efficiencies within our teams. McKinsey & Company research says that as a result of generative AI, technology could achieve human-level performance in some technical capabilities before 2030. That same report indicates that AI-driven automation can lead to up to 50% productivity gains in customer success as early as 2025. So that 50% productivity gain means that AI can do half the work of your CS staff, which essentially doubles their output. Scalability isn't just about handling increasing workloads efficiently. It's also about being adaptable as you grow. Businesses expand, customer bases grow, peak periods emerge. AI-powered automation is uniquely suited to tackle those challenges. So let's also look at scalability from the perspective of not just handling more customers or an increasing workload, but also serving each customer better. So AI-driven systems excel in analyzing vast amounts of customer data to help us provide more personalized experiences. According to Salesforce, 80% of customers say that the experience a company provides is as important as its products and services itself. So the claim that AI will replace most of your customer success team by 2030 is not about replacing human agents, but about augmenting their capabilities, allowing them to focus on what really matters, building relationships, solving complex issues, and nurturing customer loyalty.
Thank you, Kathy. Very nice. And again, Kathy is asking all of you to vote for the motion. Now, our next debater will be speaking against the motion. Miranda, the floor is yours.
All right, first of all, quick show of hands, how many of you have spoken with a chat bot recently? How many of you had the best experience of your life and you're wanting to give that business more and more of your money? We got 1, 2, okay. Okay. So there are a few reasons why I am firmly in the no camp. First, I asked ChatGPT. I went out and asked it if generative AI would replace most of the customer success professionals by 2030, and even ChatGPT agreed with me and landed in the highly unlikely camp. Customer success is a multifaceted role. It involves building relationships, understanding customer needs, and providing personalized solutions. While AI can certainly enhance and automate certain aspects of customer success, it is unlikely to mostly replace all of you. because it hasn't yet tapped into critical thinking and building human relationships. Humans desire human interaction. We're all sitting here together. We're here not just for the content, we're here to build relationships and get to know each other. You can't do that with AI. Critical thinking and problem solving. AI is great at identifying patterns, suggesting solutions, but humans still outperform when it comes to critically thinking through intricate challenges. Trust and relationship building. That is my number 3. A big part of what we do is build trust and develop long-term partnerships with our customers. While AI can help us gather data, insights, it's humans that maintain the genuine connections. Case in point, who here has watched the movie Her? Okay, first of all, I'm about to spoil it for all of you all, but it's been out for 20 years, so if you haven't seen it by now. The relationship didn't work in Her, okay? There was a dramatic breakup. I'm not going to go into it, but that is another case in point. Go watch that movie. Depending on the level of investment, most customers prefer interacting with humans for sensitive, complex, or strategic matters. Limitations is my next point. AI in general is very effective, again, when handling rules-based tasks. I know this will change as it gets smarter and smarter, but 2030 is only 6 years away. I know it sounds like it's very far away, but it is right around the corner. Anyone who has children, time flies fast. 6 years is like tomorrow. I am not convinced that we will be there in 6 years. Lastly, right over that way, we have a bunch of people making decisions about the future of our country, regulations, rules. The government has this on their radar. I'm going to make a joke about the government here. I apologize in advance for any locals. Government, when they get their hands on things move slow. I'm going to predict that there's going to be some significant regulations introduced soon that is going to slow down the progress of AI, which makes 2030 just literally tomorrow. So remember that, okay? They're going to make some very compelling arguments, but think about the part 2030, okay? Keep that in mind.
Thank you, Miranda. Very well done. Our next speaker, Allastair, will be arguing for the motion. Allastair, the floor is yours. Do you have a ringer?
I do. So my partner has been talked about all the productivity gains that we're going to get, and I really wanted to focus on sort of the history of technology and where. But I wanted to first have Maureen join me on stage. No. Maureen joined me on stage so that she can give you a few sentences.
History has shown us that there are advances in technology that are inevitable, and also that these advances are not as personal as we would like. We are not trying to replace the human element in the customer journey, but we all see the writing on the wall. This technology will help us create a better customer experience. To quote Karim Lakhani from a recent HBR article, AI will not replace humans, but humans with AI will replace humans without AI. Thank you, Allastair, for letting me join the debate.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thanks, Maureen.
So Maureen did nothing. We produced this in about an hour, and Chris was very happy to help me out, but he doesn't know the technology, and it's only took an hour. So imagine you all have this technology in your hands, and you're taught on it, what you can actually do with this for your customers, bringing in all that data points so that you can then service your customers the right way. So I'm the first to admit that I've been skeptical of AI. I think just as social media has given us a toxic environment at times, it's also given us the ability to see great things happen, such as self-made singers. I'm sure that a few of us follow them on Instagram today, and they're actually now out touring and making money at their job without having to work with any of the big record labels. They've just been able to do that on social media. The amount of data that is flowing through all of these platforms allows all of us in this room to get a personalized experience, right? While I understand that there are definitely issues around the sharing of this data and privacy, we all have it. However, it hasn't stopped you from being on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and of course, everybody who voted currently has a mobile phone in their pocket. So all of that information that exists out there is going to change the world, right? I work for a data company. This is what we do. And we're able to bring new and inventive algorithms to our customers. And history has shown that if we are a laggard in this area, we end up like Blockbuster. So we all love the tweets, but they're no longer with us. If they had been ahead of their time, they would have been Netflix.
All right, thank you, Allastair. And thank you, Maureen. All right, and our final statement will come against the motion. It comes from David.
The final statement. And I'll go ahead and stand up for this because I think it's important. So I would start with a question for all of you, like, why are you here? Not in a general sense, not the anonymity of a crowd, but think to yourself, why am I sitting right here right now? You had to get up this morning. You had to commute. Lots of you got on airplanes from different parts of the country. Lots of you brushed your teeth to sit here. And why is that? Why are you here? Well, if you're like Miranda and I, it's because you want to hang out with You Mon. You want to kick over water and watch him catch it. Like, you want to hang out with Allie and talk customer success. You want to talk to Abby and tell her your product. You want human interaction. Human interaction. Our customers want that same thing. Our customers are not customers. I hate the term customers. You know, we have a learning platform. We call them nobody is a freaking learner. Nobody is a customer. It's Sue. It's Sam. It's Sally. It's a person. And they want the same thing that we want. Human interaction. They want somebody who can get on the phone, communicate with them, interact with them, understand them. And like AI can provide some great productivity gains, but it can't replace that human interaction. AI might be able to guess what my business challenge or what Sue's business challenges are, but it's not going to be able to guess the day-to-day issue that Sue is having that you as a vendor, as a partner can help her with. It won't help understand Sam's problem, the bureaucratic problem that he has in his organization as you're trying to get that big renewal over the line. She's so excited, she's just choking on it. She's like, you're goddamn right.
The clock's still ticking.
Yeah.
So AI just simply can't fully understand our customers, and our customers, just like all of us sitting here, want to be understood. They want to be heard, they want to be listened to, they want that human interaction. So we both traveled to be here for the human interaction component, and we're firmly against the motion. AI simply can't replace that. And replacing most, AI cannot replace most. We're not even talking about some just out of productivity gain. We're talking about most, 75%, literally, this half of the room over replaced by that avatar. Like, even Victor, who has more at stake in this fight than any of us as CEO of Synthesio, even he said, nope. Hard pass on that. We're not going to do that to our customers. We shouldn't expect our customers to embrace AI replacing most of our CS team. So hell no.
Yeah, thank you, David. All right, that concludes round one, only the first round, that was it. Our formal opening statements. We move on to our second round. We can address each other, debaters can address each other, take questions from me, take questions from you. So be ready with your questions. I'm going to start to summarize. I'm going to try to summarize your statements here. The team arguing for the motion is saying that the AI train has left the station already. It's gaining traction. It's already happening. And not only the analysts and consultants and companies predicting the same productivity gains as indicated in the motion most, but we're already seeing the fruit of AI enhancements. And we're not immune to the pressures of productivity gains and scalability requirements. People are asking us for it. So we need to do this. And the march of technology is often an inevitable one, and the technology offers real benefits. When it offers real benefits, it happens quickly. The team arguing against the motion says that simply humans want to work with humans for their customer interactions. And while they don't deny that there's going to be enhancements in productivity, I think they believe a few things. Limitations to the technology means that we won't get the productivity that the motion is stating. And even when the technology advances, critical thinking, problem-solving skills can still be done best by humans. And with 2030, it's a limiting factor, especially with potential regulatory oversight. So they're arguing against it. So let me actually just start by asking two questions. I'll first start with Maranda and David. I'll start with you. My question to you is, don't you feel like you're betting against inevitability? Allastair mentioned the advance of technologies like ride-hailing. You can say the same things about typing pools, right, in the past. And even modern things like, you go to restaurants now and there's QR codes to check, to order and check out, right? These were really human activities that were important, but they're quickly being replaced. Are you not betting against history?
I think we have to separate out AI from doing things with technology. I feel like they're two very different things. AI, the way that people are envisioning it is, so like an actual being replacing another being. It's not the same as doing a QR code and putting your order in. That is not AI. AI is trying to replicate human interaction. So I wouldn't say stuff like checking out at the grocery store, putting in your QR code and putting your order in is the same thing as having human interaction with your CSM partnering with you to think through the collective goals you want to solve for your business, trying to think through areas of the data where you should drill into to solve your real problems in your organization. I don't see them in the same vein. I am not anti-technology. I'm not anti, gaining efficiencies through leveraging technology. I'm not anti-AI, but I don't think that it, by 2030, will mostly replace our team.
Do you have something?
Yeah, so I think, I don't think you can decouple AI and technology. I also think that the idea of sitting down with your customer and understanding what their outcomes and goals are going to be, 100%, we should be doing that as CSMs. However, if I can take all of that customer data, if I can go out and read their 10Q, 10K, I can consolidate that information, put it in front of my CSM, and now they can go out and have that conversation. They don't have to spend all the time doing the research on that company.
But the systems for that already exist, right? Like this has been around. That's not AI. That's a data platform. That's a BI platform.
No, that's considered. It's considered machine learning AI. So you have machine learning AI versus generative AI, which is what you all are arguing against, which is replacing the human element. Machine learning AI helps with that productivity. And to quote, according to McKinsey and IDC, knowledge workers spend an average of 19% of their time looking for information. What if we took AI, replaced that, and at $80,000 a year, plus 100 employees, you're looking at a $1.6 million in lost productivity. So now I can bring all that money back in to my company. I can use it for training my CSMs, getting them even better at their strategic initiatives.
again, I know you say we can't separate things out, but I do think we have to separate out a BI tool versus completely replacing. Serving up data in analytics in a BI tool is and I live this day in and day out as you do. You know, we provide data to our customers all the time for them to understand and learn how to take actions to improve their businesses. Just giving them the data, the insights, and serving it up doesn't help with change management. It doesn't help overcome that barrier of figuring out, what do I do with this data? What do I do with this insight?
So I would argue with that, you know, not all of us get the privilege of having 100 CSMs. Like, I've got 4. And, you know, with the extent of the customer interactions we're trying to have, we just can't do it in the way we'd like to do it because we spend so much time booking meetings, writing up meeting notes, hunting down issues, troubleshooting. So I'm not talking about AI taking over that level of the complex stuff. I want my humans to do the complex stuff. The AI is going to go and gather all this information for them and serve it up. I'm going to pitch ChurnZero right now, but CSAI briefs was the best thing that ever happened to me. That happened to me this year. It gave me back so much of my time. Nobody paid me to say that. But literally, the day before I got it, I replied on You Mon's post saying, when will I get this? And when I got it, I emailed my CSM and said, tell everybody that I love it.
But what you're arguing is an augmentation. You're arguing for an augmentation, not a replacement. But you're on the side of saying AI will mostly replace your CSMs. So you're literally feeding into our argument saying it's going to augment, but it's not going to replace.
So each of my CSMs, customer success staff, will give me X units of output. That's what I get from them. No more, X units of output, okay? Once I get that AI tool embedded there, and like the research says, we're looking at 50% productivity gains, I'm going to take half of the junk that the CSMs are working on right now, I'm going to move that over to the AI. I get 50% of their capacity back. I'm going to take that, I'm still going to get X units of output, but what I'm going to get from them is better quality, it's the stuff I want them to do, and now I have one less CSM I have to go and hire when I grow because this one CSM is doing more work. So in 6 years, is that what 2030 is?
6 years.
Thank you.
Yep.
In 6 years, over time, as my business grows, I'm not going to need as many CSMs. I'm going to need CSMs, but I don't have to grow my team as quickly as I have to right now. And this is how in 2030, most of my team will be replaced by, most of what would have been my team then would be replaced by AI.
Let me ask a follow-up question, and we'll go to audience in a second. One question for the team arguing for. This is Kathy and Allastair. So the team actually brought up, I think, a pretty interesting point about legislation. And legislation, you know, does happen, but the fear of the unknown, right? There are some people who believe that that this actually will be the end of mankind, humankind. And I don't believe it, but there's some people who believe it, right? And that is sort of that fear that often will drive legislation. Are you not worried that legislation will stop this technology trend in its tracks?
I think we've seen through all the things that have happened on social media, through those different technologies, that it has not slowed, right? We're definitely doing regulation on those areas. We've already got industry thinking about the ethical use of AI. Victor talked about the 3 C's that his company is already adopting. And we already know that there is legislation going into the House, assuming they can actually vote on it. But it will be coming into the House shortly. But that's not going to discontinue. ChatGPT, OpenAI is continuing to build. They're continuing to release. Right. They're not being prevented to do that.
So, this is my ballpark, right? I work in security and privacy. That my whole job exists because of those rules and regulations and frameworks. And what we've seen in the past is that our governments, I would actually argue, I don't have to argue it, it's a fact, the United States is the last. They have not implemented any privacy regulation, actually a federal privacy regulation. The wheel just keeps on turning. The cat is out of the bag. Regulations and frameworks, responsible AI is already out there. There's already discussions around it. It'll happen, but it's not going to stop progress. We don't stop progress. We keep moving forward.
Interesting. Okay. And now, audience, if you have questions, lots of questions.
Yeah, I'll just tag on
Okay,
here.
yes.
I don't think legislation is the barrier, the problem. We agree AI is going to augment CSMs. It is going to enable them to be more effective. 100%. We can all agree that using ChatGPT or BT or PT, it's going to help us be a little bit more effective in our jobs. But that's not the question. The question is, will AI replace most of your CS team by 2030? It's not, will it make them a little bit more effective? It'll make them 20%, 25% more effective. But the reason that we do this is for that human interaction, for engaging with the customers, for driving adoption, articulating value, understanding their problems that can't be scanned out of the annual report, understanding Sue's problem and Sam's bureaucratic problem and Sally's boss not wanting to sign off on the PO. Like, that's what CSMs do, and so they're going to be more productive. I honestly believe that AI is going to increase the need for CSMs. Not just, we're not going to replace this half of the room. This room's going to be twice as big because CSMs are going to be so much more effective at the stuff that CSMs were supposed to be doing all along. Driving adoption, articulating value, driving personalized solutions to people problems. AI just simply can't do that.
Hi, thank you. My question is about in 6 years, because what you all are talking about, whether you're maybe more if you're for most of it being replaced, is do you think that 6 years is enough to close the skill gap needed in order to for CS teams to actually adopt and fully realize the value of what generative and predictive and machine learning AI can give us?
Good question. Again, if you're thinking about generative AI and prompt engineering, that's a world unto itself. I sat in on that session for a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, you need to be trained to do that. I don't know. But if you've tried CSAI Brief, here's what you need to know how to do. Click the button, right? So it depends on the tools that you're using. It depends on what it is you're pulling in. Synthesia presented this morning about how easy it is. In fact, the gentleman who created the video said it took him an hour, and he said, and I don't even know how to use it really well. So no, I don't think it's going to be a massive learning curve if you're using the right tools.
But those tools are only as good as your customers, who are human people, willingness to interact with them. A typical executive gets 300 to 500 emails a week. It's overwhelming. So imagine AI, the whatever that thing was on the screen, or your AI brief, creating AI is doing all this stuff. How are they delivering that to your customer?
I love that.
It's
I love
one
that
of
example.
500 emails that they're getting, and it may be personalized, but it's not a person.
Here, can I just respond to that? When you say that, my first thought goes, you know what I want? I want a tool that's going to go through those emails, summarize them for me, prioritize them for me, say this is urgent, answer today, this one can wait till later. And if an AI can do that, I would like it tomorrow. Customer, you listen.
And if you think,
All right, David, let's go. We have a lot of questions. Okay, question in the back. Okay.
All right, this works. So the premise of the question is by 2030, and I've heard some arguments that that's not enough time, but GPT-1 was invented in 2018, less than 5 years ago. And what is true is that computation, algorithms, and the investment that's flowing into these products are growing exponentially. So how are you thinking about and factoring in exponential growth into the premise of the question by 2030?
data in, the quality of data going in and the data going out, it's abysmal. So one of my prospects is Colgate. I want to know who the top leaders in Colgate. It couldn't get the CEO right. It literally got the CEO of Colgate wrong. And because it's pulling some data from the data is so bad it can't be relied on. And to think that you're gonna, in just 6 years, completely correct that with legislation blocking, slowing stuff down, these language models getting trained on old garbage content. Pretty soon the language models are feeding into the language models, so garbage becomes more garbage, and you're gonna replace this half of the room.
Oh, we're at half
And
now. Okay.
say, hey, that data is good enough.
You heard him.
said this half.
Yeah.
All right, we have
Thank you,
lots
Mickey.
of questions.
I appreciate it.
Let's keep going.
Hi.
Yeah.
No, he was already here as a speaker. I can't help that.
I'm loving this. I wish I would have popped some popcorn. So my question is, if we were just talking about B2C SaaS versus B2B, would your answers change or your positions, and why?
A little bit. It kind of goes to the self-checkout kind of idea, or, I was an exec at HelloSign, right? And we had hundreds of thousands of daily active users. But I also had a big one-to-many motion already there, as I have at other organizations. So leveraging marketing drip campaigns, community, forums, all of the things you leverage when you're trying to drive a one-to-many motion, right? So I already had less CSMs already to support that in general. So to say most will be replaced by just segmenting out the B2C is bananas, because it's already been done, right? We're already doing that. I, of course, live more on the B2B side, so my stance heavily comes from B2B side, B2B enterprise mostly. I think folks are giving you hundreds of thousands, if not millions and millions of dollars. They want a strategic partnership. They need that strategic partnership, and most companies rely on that strategic partnership to be true in order to secure your line item on their budget.
Amen.
All right, we'll have two more questions from the audience. Gary.
I think this debate is one-sided because we heard from AI Maureen. Why don't we hear from the real Maureen?
Real Maureen, yes. That's a great question. All right, let's take another question. Let's go. All right, and then one
Yeah,
more.
so my quick question for both teams, when you were looking at this prompts, what was the design of the CS team you were thinking of?
Interesting. Yeah, what was your preconception of the CS
Right,
team?
is it
Yeah.
5 people that are managing $10 million and just doing high-level strategic work? Or was it a bunch of people that are just kind of hacking away at whatever? And did that change how you address this? Because that may help.
I think that's the beauty of this group right here, is we're all over the place. I think there's a good mix of folks that are dealing with very large organizations and small organizations. You have the dichotomy there.
And I think it's an important concept to bring up, because that's what's framing all of our opinions. We didn't have a premise to start with other than the sentence you saw on the board. So we all have our expectations. Like I said, my life needs this. So, not everybody else. Miranda's is very different, where she feels like it would hurt her customers to go that route. So we're just having fun with it, but we have our opinions based on a bunch of stuff, right?
So I actually had a premise for this. So I started one of the first customer success teams in the world at SuccessFactors long time ago, when only Salesforce really had this. And we hired CSMs to partner with customers, to be the strategic partner. They were managing $10 million portfolios, $20 million portfolios. I had a portfolio of $450 million. And it was that personal interaction, that engagement. Now, what's happened over the last 25 years is all of these tasks started popping up for CSMs. So rather than a CSM working the call, having meetings with a customer, being their partner, understanding their business challenges, now they're doing status updates. They're doing all of this routine work that detracts from the core value of customer success. And that's why we believe AI can't replace that CSM. Just can't replace that CSM. It can augment them to get them back to where they drove value originally.
Let's do one more question.
So I
One more
will
question.
actually.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, please.
So I'm actually going to agree that AI can't replace, but I have an enterprise team made up of 7 CSMs. If I could take away their tasks that are mundane, research, they're dealing with massive med tech and biopharma companies that release tons of data all the time. If I can take all of that away from them and then let them have those strategic conversations with Sue and Sam and those individual users, awesome. That's exactly
He
what,
is saying, literally, he is saying,
what
I want even more CSS. Congratulations, you got your jobs back.
didn't have to-
Allastair said, I want more CSMs,
I won't have to-
I don't want them doing busy work.
But that's exactly it,
That's
right?
exactly-
So I think
don't
we
want
wrap
them
it
We'll
up
have more
there.
CSMs.
Go to the vote.
Are we
Like,
done? Are we
Allastair
okay.
just committed, so we're good.
We got one
Happy
more
hours.
question, I think, in the back. One more question. I'm sorry, we can't get to everybody.
All right, so what I find interesting is nobody's talked about the money, following the money. The investment, we saw the graph, the chart earlier, there's huge spikes in private investment and money pouring into this, not to mention public sector and what we don't hear about, right? So the efficiencies to be gained, we have economic contractions coming our way, which could actually accelerate adoption of AI. So from a money-saving perspective, do you guys mind commenting on how it could make this 2030 timeline more effective or less effective?
If your CS team, I'll just go ahead and jump right in there. If your CS team is viewed as a cost center, if they're not driving revenue retention, net revenue retention to drive expansion, yeah, you're going to have a problem. But if your CS team is designed to drive customer adoption, engage with them to articulate the value of the products that they're using, when those CSMs are freed up from the mundane, from the you're going to see those numbers go up. I was on the call with our board this morning and talking about, hey, net revenue retention is down across the board. All of these companies in the portfolio are suffering net revenue retention. They're not saying get rid of your CS team. They're saying, what can your CS team do to drive that even more? We could be more productive. If I threw one more CSM, two more, three more CSMs.
Hey,
We never argued productivity. We're saying replace the CSMs can do better work, drive more value,
I've
freed
been
up.
saying this for years and years and years.
She has been.
Years and years and years. If you are not tying yourself to a number in some way in the CS org, CS leaders, CSMs, yeah, you're doomed to be cut. So figure out how to tie yourself to a number. How do you drive revenue? And that's how you follow the money.
But these guys want to replace you with AI.
So,
So just to touch on the investment side, we've seen $170 billion being invested in AI technology. This is where the VCs are putting their money right now. So between now and 2030, that $170 billion turns into maybe it's $500 billion. How much faster is technology going to get by having that infusion of cash into it, right? So.
We're not saying AI is not going to be developed. We're just saying 2030 is around the corner, and it's not going to develop at the pace in which you're thinking.
All right, well, let's wrap up round two of our conversation. And we are going to move on to round three. So, all right, so round three, closing statements by the four debaters in turn. Be brief, 90 seconds each. I want to remind you that immediately after the round three, we're going to vote a second time. So to make his closing statement in support of the motion, AI will replace most of your CS team by 2030. Here, once again, is Allastair.
Thank you. So I'd like to thank my colleagues on the other side. They had a great argument, but not that great.
I'm sorry, I got choked up.
Did you pour the water down? So we are arguing that we will be able to not replace, we won't have to hire all of the CSMs that we're going to need between now and 2030. Kathy's team is 4 people. That means if she can not hire 2 CSMs between now and 2030, we've hit that most mark. So put that all in perspective from a small business standpoint. Those of us who are battling against the rule of 40, and our margins are pretty slim, so our profits got to go through the roof. Well, how do we increase our margins? We get to use AI to do that. It's free. People cost a lot of money. I'm sorry, but we do. We're the biggest expense of any company.
Thank you, Allastair. And arguing against the motion one more time is Maranda.
I'm just going to do a simple poll. How many of you are in CS? Raise your hands. Okay. How many of you are currently looking for a job? Raise your hand. Okay. Are you? Really? You're in the, oh, wow. I didn't know that. What these folks are proposing would, of course, make it harder for all of us to get out there and get a job, right? Maybe, not maybe, it will. I'm not saying AI isn't going to augment CS. What I am saying is our customers are going to force the hands of businesses to do business right. And doing business right, of course, is not having your CSMs do that busy work. We don't disagree with that. We don't want customer success doing customer support. We don't want customer success, writing help center articles, right? We have tools and functions that solve for that already. We want customer success to do the human interaction that requires critical thinking. That is not going to change. Customer success in its purest form will not change. Yes, we will have to get smarter about what CS owns. We already have had to do that. 2020, we saw a huge dip in the economy when COVID hit. I started a Slack channel to help many of you find jobs because a lot of people were impacted. People were really crunching their numbers. But businesses were still forced to give that human interaction to solve the right problems with your customers, alongside of your customers, partner with your customers. I don't foresee that is going to change. And 2030, again, is right around the corner. So simply dig into your hearts today and think, about this. Like, really think about this. Think about how people do business. Hey, give me a break. I got in at 2 in the morning, okay? I'm a little jet lagged. Dig into your heart and think about how let's say you were putting millions of dollars into an investment. Do you want to do business with a robot? Do you want to do business with AI? No, absolutely not. And that is who our customers are. We're not just humans, we're also customers. So think about it logically. We force the hands of our vendors to treat us a certain way, or we do business elsewhere. There's optionality all over the place.
Thank you, Miranda.
Amen.
All right, and let's go to Kathy. Kathy, you are arguing for the motion. The floor is yours.
Yeah, it does sound to me like Miranda and David actually agree, that all of us agree on one thing, and that is, AI will have a profound impact on how we do work today, that it will, through automation, AI-powered automation. We're all in agreement there. Especially when it comes to efficiency, adaptability, personalization. It sounds to me like they agree. What we're talking about then is the 2030 of it and whether or not that's realistically going to happen. Embracing this transformation doesn't mean the elimination of jobs. It means evolving the role. Okay? The human touch will remain indispensable in customer success. Nobody is saying it won't. It will, however, be amplified by the AI capability. In the future that I can envision, businesses that leverage AI for automation and scalability, they will thrive. Those that don't will be blockbuster. They'll meet and exceed the evolving expectations of the customers, not just in terms of having that relationship, but customer expectations are also very much moving towards respond now, respond quickly, respond right the first time, and that we're going to get there through AI. Businesses that don't get on board will fall behind.
All right, thank you, Kathy. All right, and our last speaker, who I want to stand up, thank you, David, for standing up, arguing no on the motion. David.
So a round of applause for Kathy and Allastair. They gave it a good shot. They both attempted to change the question, which is a great debate technique. So instead of talking about replacing, they started to focus on augmenting, because neither one of them know, the proposition is replacing all of you. Think about that when you sit down to vote. Miranda said it perfectly, like dig in your heart for humanity, for your own humanity, your own person. You got on a plane. You put on clothes. You came here to be among your peers, to have human interaction. Sue, Sam, Sally, Sean, they all want the same thing. And AI cannot replace CSMs. Augment, yes. Replace, no.
Thank you, David. And that concludes round 3 of our debate. I really want to thank this group for a great debate. It was entertaining, it was interesting and informative, but it's now time to vote. And which side that you thought argued the best. Now, it's the same QR, if you actually should look at your phone, make sure it says after the debate, and vote again. Okay, so vote again, please. And by the way, while we are waiting for the results, while we're waiting for the results, do you think you changed people's mind? David, I know you changed everyone's mind, but how do you feel? Do you think the audience was with you? Like, how do you feel about the debate?
I think I could have done a little better, but
Yeah. Okay, Miranda. Yeah. Okay. And how about the other team? You changing people's minds?
I mean, I don't know where we were, following the first vote, but I think that I saw a lot of head nodding, so I feel good about it.
I do think there's a couple of things, right? I mean, the question of replacing, I think, was an interesting point, right? A point that you were talking about. Most, for some reason, was like a big thing, right? Like a most. And then 2030, right? I mean, we were trying to put a lot of caveats on this, right? So that we can actually have a fairly balanced result. All right, let's flip over to, all right. So before the debate, oh, look at that. Interesting. Before the debate, 44% of you voted for the motion, unlike LinkedIn. 41%, I like this a lot. Undecided, 15%, just to give you a sense, that was the LinkedIn poll. 11% for, 76 against. Once again, I think they did not get the nuance of the poll. Okay, and then after debate, for the motion lost 1 vote. Against the motion went up 10%. The team arguing against the motion has won today's debate.